Good morning, Clark Middle School. Well, I can't believe it, but we made it to the last SEL lesson of the school year. With the new school year, every year it brings us, a chance to start new goals, continue building skills that we've already started, trying new things, and now we've made it to the end of the year, and I hope that you've done all of those things and you've made some choices that help you become the person that you're wanting to be. And so after all the topics that we've discussed this year in SEL, I thought there might be some questions or things that you'd like to ask that maybe you haven't had a chance to do. Before I move on though, as you notice, my voice is a little different. I had to wait to do the videos this time because I had no voice towards the end of last week. If you'd heard me, I was at a whisper. So I apologize for how I sound right now, but I'm going to do my best and try to be extra loud. But I asked you all to send me questions that you might want me to answer today on the last SEL lesson of the year. And boy, did you respond. You sent me so many questions, way more than I ever thought I would receive. So I thought I'd have just a handful and we'd get to all of them today. But we have so many, dozens and dozens and dozens of great questions, and I couldn't just choose them because they all deserve attention and they're all so great that I just put them all on cards. I almost needed a bigger bag because they're right here at the top here. But I'm going to choose them out and we're going to discuss them now. And I'm going to give you my response. And then your teachers are going to have a chance to pause the video so that you guys can discuss maybe your advice or anything you'd like to add on to what I have said. So I think it's going to be a great chance for you to, voice your opinions and your ideas and your experiences today. All right, so let's start off. See what our first question is. Oh, I get this question a lot. Why are we not allowed to chew gum? Well, there's a couple reasons. One, it's in our handbook that we're a gum-free school, no gum allowed at our school. And a few of those reasons are because, well, it can make a really big mess and ruin, say, carpets, or I've seen it be left on our cafeteria trays and they run them through the dishwasher and it smears them all over, makes a huge mess. If they're under the desks, I've seen clothing get ruined or get gum all over their clothing because it's been stuck under. So it's mostly just an issue with that it makes a mess and it can ruin things. So that's why we aren't really allowed to chew gum here at school. So if your teachers would like to pause for a moment to let you voice your opinion and your thoughts about chewing gum at school. I'd also love to hear if you have something to offer about chewing gum that's an alternate, position or a perspective on why maybe you should be allowed to chew gum and how we could do that. So I'm going to let you pause if you'd like, and I'll see you back here in a few minutes. And if not, you can just continue with the next question. Okay, so next question. Let's see what this next question is. How does vaping affect the brain? So we just had our brain lesson last month, and I got a lot of great feedback. A lot of you really learned a lot with that and have been using what you've learned, and I'm really grateful for that. And so how does vaping affect the brain? Well, we know that your brains are continuing to develop well into your 20s. And so dopamine is released in your brain when it's kind of like the reward center. It's in your dopamine is released in your midbrain, and so say you're craving something sweet to eat, and you get your favorite chocolate candy, and dopamine is released, giving you that reward and that feel good, that really good feeling, and so therefore then you crave that chocolate again sometimes because you like that feeling that your body gets when you have that chocolate. Well, same with vaping. Vapes have nicotine in them. Remember, we talked about how some of them have a lot, some of them have just a little, but it only takes a little bit of nicotine to release that dopamine in your brain. And so then your body can crave more nicotine, or even move on to other things, other drugs that will give that feel-good response to your body. And so you want to, instead of using vapes to get that dopamine, you want some natural ways to get that dopamine, whether it is exercising or reading a really good book or playing with a pet. it's great to find those natural ways to release that dopamine. So if you'd like to pause the video to discuss about how vaping affects your body and brain, or if you have anything to add to that, your teachers can pause the video and you can have a discussion about how vaping or smoking affects your brain. Okay, so next question. I hope you're having some really good discussions. I'd love to hear some of your ideas and responses. Okay, so when someone has an anxiety attack, what does it look like? So sometimes I have students say, I don't think people understand what that anxiety can look different for different people, because they tell me that I'm not really having problems with anxiety because maybe they get really quiet or look like they're staring or not. They won't answer people. So remember, anxiety can affect people in different ways. And we have that fight, flight, freeze response when our amygdala makes our prefrontal cortex go offline, and that fight or flight response, so that we can, that survival kind of response. But that can look different in different people, depending on also the situation or the setting or who's around us. So maybe it looks like fighting, where grouchy or agitated, or a flight where they're getting out of the situation or leaving the area, or maybe it's freezing, where the person gets very, very quiet or doesn't seem like they're paying attention or listening or won't respond. So anxiety can look different in different people, and it can look different in at different times or in different settings. So maybe you have an experience with anxiety and you feel comfortable today. If you do feel comfortable in sharing your experiences, and your teacher pauses the video, then you can have a discussion about how anxiety, everybody has anxiety at times. So everyone has an experience with anxiety, even if it's in like a case of taking a test or going to a new place that you've never been to before, or a big game, or any sporting event, or going performing on stage or talking in front of people. So it can be those kinds of anxieties too. So what does anxiety look and sound like for you? Okay. All right, let's find another question. I'm gonna go down to the bottom and see what we can find. All right. What do you think is the best way to help someone with a problem? That's a great question, which I love that question, because it means there are so many students that are always wanting to know how to help their friends. And I love that. I love that you care about them and you want to know how to help them, and you don't always feel like you know how to do that. But the number one thing that you can do is be a good listener. And we've talked about active listening, how you use your facial expressions, body language, to let the person know that you're really engaged and you're listening to what they have to say, and maybe using words that they have said back at them so they know that you've heard them. I heard that you feel this way when this happens. You don't always have to know the answers. Sometimes you can speak from experiences that you've had, or say, this is what works for me, or this is what helped me, or this is how I handled it. Or if it's a bigger problem than you feel comfortable, helping, say, I really care about you. I care about what's happening, or what you're going through right now. Maybe we could go to talk to an adult that you feel comfortable with, so that we can get you even more help. And so you can never go wrong by being a good listener and starting there. And then it's okay if you don't know how to handle it, and you find somebody else, an adult, that maybe can help you more in getting them to that person. So maybe this would be a good time to share how you've helped somebody with a problem, or if you have additional things to add, or how you help somebody get to an adult. It's best not to use anybody's name when you're talking about somebody else's problems, but it's always good to share experiences and how you helped or you handled a situation. I'll see you in a minute. All right, we have one more question. If you don't have time, like if your question and answers are going very long and you want to save this one for the end, that's fine too. You can always fast forward through this one, or you can, because we have 3 more activities to do. All right, so last one. How can I start a club? This is the question that I gave it as an example, but I gave it an example because I have this question a lot. And we have a couple of clubs that are after school right now, the chess club and the D&D, Dungeons and Dragons club, and they're very popular and they're great because it gives some students a chance to be with other students, have similar interests, or trying new things, which is great. And so if you want to start a club, what I always tell students is think about what club you want to start. Why are you wanting to start that? And then we kind of look for an adult in the building, a teacher, a staff member that would be able to stay after school and help sponsor that club by being here with you and all of that. So I love when students are excited and want to start a club, and I'm always happy to help you figure out how to get that club started. And so if this would be a great time to talk about what clubs that maybe you would like to see at Clark Middle School, and get started early on right now thinking about some clubs and how so that I can know and we can help get that started maybe earlier, and that way you can enjoy the club longer this year. So if you pause, I'll see you back in a minute, and I'll see you in another room. I'm going to go around the school today on different activities. So I'll see you soon. Welcome back, everyone. You might not realize it, but I am in Mr. Crabtree's room. So we're going to be in Mr. Crabtree's room for this part of our lesson. Thank you, Mr. Crabtree, for allowing me to use your room. It's nice to be able to see other classrooms sometimes, so I appreciate it. I'm sorry we couldn't get to all of the questions that you sent in. They were all great and they're all worthy of attention. So if you really want to discuss a question further, please don't hesitate to let me know, and we'll make sure that we talk before the end of the year. Another great opportunity for the end of the school year is to kind of reflect and think back about all the good things that have happened this year. And it's important that you take time to think about those good things, because remember, we talked about how showing gratitude leads to being more happy and content with our lives. So, and also by practicing a new skill or new thinking can change those pathways in our brain because of neuroplasticity that we learned about when we were talking about the brain, and we can create healthier and happier habits. So today we're going to take time to think about a highlight from the year and create a school-wide story-worthy post. As you can see, I have a giant iPhone here on Instagram stories that is ready for stories to be added. So that's what we're going to do today. And I want to give a huge thank you to my cadets, fourth grade cadets, Cheyenne, Olivia, and Marlo. They created this very detailed phone that's ready for Instagram stories, and it's amazing. And I can't thank them enough. They did an amazing job, so I appreciate it. It's ready for us to showcase those story-worthy highlights. So you're going to take a few moments today to think about what's your favorite highlight from the school year, and you're going to get a white square like that for your story. They're all going to go on here. And maybe it's a success you had in the classroom, like bringing up a grade that you worked really hard on, or participating in the school musical, or winning a tough competition, learning a new skill, a coping skill that maybe is really helping you out, making a new friend, helping a new student, conquering a fear of like maybe presenting in front of the whole class. So your highlight can't be too big or too small. There's no wrong. There's my highlight. Any of you that went to the volleyball bash may recognize that scene from the volleyball bash. I had quite the volleyball skills going on at the volleyball bash, and I've had a lot of fun looking back at those and laughing at myself and having a lot of fun with that. So if you don't know what that scene is, you might ask your teacher, or come ask me, and I will help you. I'll give you the little secret about my volleyball bash showcase of my talents. So teachers are going to pause to give you some time to work. Enjoy thinking about your 21-22 school year highlights, and I'll see you back in a few minutes. Welcome back, everyone. We are now in Miss Briner's room. We're going to talk about mindfulness here in a minute, and I thought this would be a great environment, calm, relaxing environment where we can talk a little bit more about coping skills and mindfulness. I can't wait to see all the great things highlights that you made on your square to go on our story-worthy highlights. So I can't wait to see all of those things. So I look forward to that. So another thing we've discussed a lot is mindfulness and breathing exercises, coping strategies, muscle relaxation, all those things to help kind of calm our nervous system. And these strategies are good to practice anytime, especially when you're not in that really tough moment when you're trying to figure out what to do to help yourself. But practice it when you are at a calm state or you're not quite elevated. That way, when you are needing it, and you can kind of pull that out really quickly and say, I know this will work for me, or I practiced this, let me try that. Because when we're in a heightened state of anxiety, sometimes, remember, our amygdala shuts down our prefrontal cortex and we have a hard time making those decisions. So if it's right, if we've practiced it enough, it'll come right to us. So I thought we're going to have one more opportunity to practice some mindfulness today, and what a better way than to practice with some Rice Krispie treats. And so your teachers are going to pass out some Rice Krispie treats, and while they do, I'm going to talk about, just real quickly, about the stress catcher. We probably won't have time to make one today, but your teachers do have copies, and you can always get one from me. But it's just a traditional catcher, but we're going to call it a stress catcher. You can play with a friend, by yourself. But once you get to the inside, there are some coping strategies that you could practice. It's just a fun, different way to practice those coping strategies that you can practice with a friend or by yourself. You can always add more in there also. So like I said, you can get one from your teacher, or you can come by and see me for one. All right, so now that everyone's hopefully has their Rice Krispie treat, we're not eating them yet, just hold on to them. You're just looking at them right now. We're delaying, remember, that dopamine, that reward for a little bit. So remember, what I want you to remember through this whole thing is do what's comfortable for you. If you just want to listen and you don't want to fully participate at this moment, that's fine. If you want to jump in the middle, that's fine too. Just do what is comfortable for you, okay? So first, make sure that you're sitting comfortably. Maybe that's against your chair, your feet maybe flat on the floor, or maybe you're sitting up a little bit. Whatever is comfortable for you, do what helps you. You can close your eyes off and on if you want, if that feels good or that's helpful to you. You don't have to. But what I want you to do right now is let all those worries go. Right now, we're just going to think about what's in the present and what we're doing right now. So get those thoughts out of your mind. Think about your feet resting on the floor and how does that feel? Think about where is your hand laying. Is it against the cold of the desk, or against your maybe your leg? But where are all those feelings at? Stay in the present right now. Are you relaxed and sitting back against your chair? Or are you sitting up? Do what is comfortable and helps you. So first, we're going to start with a little bit of muscle relaxation. We're going to only do your hands today. So I want you to ball your hand or hands in a fist really tightly. And we're going to count to 3. 1, 2, 3. And then we're going to slowly relax the tension out of your hands, starting with your fingertips. And so they're slowly going to unwind. Just think about what that feels like and only focus on that feeling of the tension releasing from your hand. Slowly let that go. Okay, so now your hands are more relaxed. And then now I want you to just look at your Rice Krispie treat. Think about the sound it makes in your hand, crinkling. Look at the colors. How does the shiny, does that grab your attention? How does that feel looking at the shiny? Feel the edges, they're kind of a little pokey, so how does that feel? Maybe squish it just a little bit. Think about the sound. Also, on our Rice Krispie package here, it says so much to love about. So take a moment to think about, what would you write to yourself there? What is there so much to love about you? What would you like to see written in there? So in your head, you can close your eyes if that helps. Think about, what would you write to yourself that you love about you? Okay, if you can't think of anything, think about what you've accomplished this school year, something that was hard or took a lot of courage. Okay, what have you heard somebody else say that they love about you? Okay, all right. So now we're going to take a second and I want you to, as you're opening it, slowly open it and hear the sounds as you open it. Okay, pay attention, focus on watching where the wrapper rips open. Okay, and the sounds it makes as it's ripping open. Okay, you can keep it in the package, or you can take your Rice Krispie treat out. What do you notice first about your Rice Krispie treat? You notice that it has a pink color like mine, which is a strawberry, or maybe it's the traditional, original kind, or is it the chocolate? Maybe if you like, you can smell it. Does it smell like strawberry, chocolate, original? Is that a pleasant smell to you? So just think about the things that you're seeing, all your senses, things you're seeing, you're hearing, you're smelling. Okay? And so now, this time, we're gonna take a bite, and I want you to be in the present moment. I want you to use your senses. You've used your sight, your smell, your hearing, your touch. And now you're gonna use the sense of taste. And you may eat your Rice Krispie treat. And I'm gonna give you a moment to do that and think about while you're in the present moment, and just take a few minutes to go ahead and pause the video now, teachers. Let your students eat their Rice Krispie treat, and you can pass out the stress catchers if you want, or you can wait till the end, and then we'll be back for one more activity. Enjoy your treat. Welcome back, everyone. This is our last segment for the SEL lesson this year. Welcome to Miss Vick's room. And I wanted to point something out to you over here, that it is National Clean Up Your Room Day. And so thank you, Miss Vick's class, for letting us know that, so that we can make sure that we celebrate that day by going home and cleaning up our rooms. So thank you for letting us know about that. And it's supposed to be 80 degrees. It's going to be very warm this week. So thank you, Ms. Vick, for allowing me to come in and share your classroom. It's so great in here. If you haven't been in here, you might want to stop by and say hello. Okay, so our last activity is a chance for you to give me feedback for next year. You know, it's important every year also to kind of reflect back on what went well, what we could have done better, what we want to expand upon, and I do that every year. But I like to get your feedback, because you're the ones that this is all for, that it matters for, so that I do this all for. So make sure that I want to get your input. So today we're going to play, either you might play a game with the mini beach ball, or you might do just your individual feedback for me. Whichever way your teacher decides to do it is great. So you're going to talk about the topics that were beneficial, what topics maybe need more attention, what activities you liked and enjoyed, or what type of activities you liked and enjoyed, like interactive games, online, paper pencil, group discussions, just whatever you can think of that would help me design the lessons that would be most beneficial and effective for you. And any suggestions that you'd like me, or ideas that you'd like me to consider for next year, I'm always open to those new ideas. So your teachers will explain how you might play the game, or how you're going to give me feedback, but I really look forward to that feedback every year, and I use it every year to improve upon our SEL lessons and the Best Me with Mrs. V. I hope this school year you were able to meet or make progress towards your goals. I hope you maybe let go of some things or habits that weren't helping you be the best you. I hope you excelled at many things and even had a failure or two that you learned or grew from. I hope you were kind to others, and if you had a weak moment, you were able to make amends to that person and do better the next time. I hope you found value in working hard at your schoolwork and had the courage to raise your hand and ask the questions in class and participate in discussions. I hope you had the opportunity to be brave, whether it was to stand up and talk in front of your class, take that last second shot, try out for that part in the school musical, or stand up for yourself. I hope someone showed you kindness and compassion when you really needed it. I hope you stood up and helped someone else who needed it. I hope you felt how much the adults in this building and this school care about you. I hope you made wonderful memories this school year. I'm proud of you. I hope you have a safe and wonderful summer break. See you later.